Week one of the football season is in the books, and it's going to be a long season for Neal Jones. His team isn't doing so well, and we're not talking about the Chiefs. Here's tonight's top five.
The NFL season kicked off this weekend, which means two things. The Cowboys lost, and millions of Americans are going crazy about their teams. Not their NFL team, their fantasy team. So here are the top 5 things to know about fantasy football. Number 5, it's way bigger than you think. According to Wikipedia, which is never wrong, around 46 million Americans take part in fantasy leagues. That's more than actually attend NFL games. Clearly, this is a thing. Number 4, it's not just for nerdy men anymore. Nerdy women also play. In fact, around 20% of American fantasy football players are women. So much for the image of 19-year-old frat boys playing fantasy. Number 3, what's in a name? It turns out, a lot. There are teams named after players like Clyde and Go Seek, which is a takeoff on Clyde Edwards-Helaire's name, Giselle's Bunchen, which honors Tom Brady's wife, and Sherlock Mahomes. I think you know where that comes from. There's also a bunch of inappropriate team names, which we won't show.
Because we're a family newscast.
And I don't know how to spell them. Number 2, there are good owners and bad owners. Just like the NFL, some fantasy owners are better than others. Yeah, I'm talking about Al Davis's son. They put hours of study into building their team and invest not insignificant amounts of cash in purchasing players and buying information about players. Which brings us to our number 1. It's big business. Google fantasy football and over 404 million responses come up. Want proof it's gone mainstream? Well, every single newspaper, magazine, or TV network dispenses information on fantasy football. And while some sites cost big money to access, and others are completely free, they all share one trait. They say to draft and play Patrick Mahomes. I'm Neal Jones, and that's this week's Top 5.